Hello and welcome to season 2, episode 4 of In Conversation With. I'm TG Campbell, author of the Bow Street Society books, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be welcoming my guest today. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name's Laura. I have a YouTube channel, Laura Ray Says, and I am so happy to be here. I do mostly commentary, drama kind of stuff over there where I just talk about bookish kind of news and things going on.
I just want to say, first of all, that your backdrop's actually amazing and of all the
Oh,
books. Very
thank you.
apt. So you've got a YouTube channel, as you've had that since 2022, I believe. And so your channel is
Yes,
called Laura Says. Well, you used to be
yes,
called Book Lover Laura. Um,
yes.
and I know you sort of quite state quite often that your YouTube really is just a hobby rather than actual sort of like a main like business or anything. But was there anything in particular that sparked you to do with the YouTube channel? Is there anything like a particular event or incident?
Not necessarily that, but I'm using Bookstagram, so I had made like an account. I actually thought that I invented it. I thought that, oh my gosh, I'm going to make this Instagram account. I'm going to talk about books, and I can't believe I thought of this. And of course, but
Millions
so
of
I
us had
had,
as well, yeah.
right, like right at the beginning of the pandemic, I was like, I'm going to do this, and it's going to be so, unique and special. Uh, so after a couple years of doing that, I kind of just got to a place where I got tired of writing reviews because I felt like I had so much more to say
Mm,
and things I wanted to convey with like that I just didn't really know how to do in written form. So that's kind of what started me with the YouTube channel, and because I did start doing mainly reviews and recommendations and that kind of thing. I needed to talk more,
yeah, you did
had more to
explain,
say.
you explained, didn't you, that the reason why, one of the reasons why you changed it from Book Lover Law is because people kept thinking that you were a writer and that you were an author.
Yeah, and I feel a lot like the just kind of where I was with my channel had really taken a different direction, and I had started talking about other things,
Yes.
tangentially related. There was the sticker situation. And then we recently had this one with this artist who made pins that were all
Yeah.
about kind of, like the scamming type of world. I just didn't want to kind of like limit myself in the future if there was somewhere else I kind of wanted to take it.
Yes.
Now that I wasn't necessarily doing book reviews as much, I've talked about it on my channel. My dad passed in August 2024,
Yeah.
and I had a really hard time focusing on reading. I wasn't reading
Yeah.
much. I just didn't have a lot of motivation, which is kind of what changed my channel from more of a book review recommendation place over to more of this kind of commentary talking about different scams, different events going on in the book community, because it just gave me a chance to continue with engaging with the community, making videos, but didn't rely so much on me having to read as
Yes.
many
Yeah.
books. It took a lot of pressure
Yeah.
off. And so it just kind of stuck with that since.
And also, there's only so much you can say about one particular book, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
So,
mean, I used to be reading like two, three books a week. And so it was very easy for me to put these videos out where I would review books and I would just talk about things I was excited about. And I mean, now I feel like I'm starting to get to a place where I read a little more consistently, but my concentration, like it just was all over the place.
it needs to be for pleasure as well. If I was reading can become a chore if
Exactly.
you're doing it like reviews 3 a week. I could about manage 3 a month.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're
And
going to be,
I got to a
yeah,
place where I was not even picking books that I necessarily was like enjoying. Reading felt like a chore. And
yes.
so I'm glad we're past that.
Yeah, I mean, I did English studies at university, and that felt like a chore, like reading
Yeah.
Middlemarch, these massive
Right.
books. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So we're going to be looking at an extract from one of your videos from your channel, in case anybody's not seen your channel before. So we'll just give an introduction to what we're going to be about to see.
Yeah. So in this video, there was an author who had offered her book to a book club to read and review if they wanted to. And when they reviewed her book, it was not 5 stars to her liking. And she went on a tear to really make them feel bad, make them look bad. And then I just really got into it, dug a little deeper into this author and the company that she runs, and found out lots of other kind of stuff there too.
So, today we have an author who has gone off the rails a little bit towards a book club that read her book. The first time I saw this, I was kind of team author, but that changed pretty quickly. And once I started looking into her, I found quite a lot to share. So the author in question here is A.M. Walker. She's published one book so far called Rooted in Silence, a psychological thriller. Now, what happened? Well, the first I saw of this situation was the following Instagram post. It has a screenshot of the South Shore page turners, and it says this book club distributes free copies to their members who provide 1 star and disparage indie authors. And the caption on this says, protecting indie authors out there. The owner distributed an e-copy, meaning not only did they not buy my book, there are multiple 1-star reviews that are word for word from one another and downright hurtful. The reviews are not all here because some were so mean I could not post them. This indie author is hurt. Do better, South Shore page turners. My goal is simply awareness to protect other indie authors. The book club will not contact my publisher back regarding these comments. I am not aiming to ban them, cause harm, or harass. I simply want answers. So right off the bat, I'm like, wow, that's kind of shitty to pirate a book and then leave bad reviews. I mean, I do think that people are allowed to review how they want to, but like, being constructive goes a long way, and it helps people take a review more seriously. At least that's how I feel. So she then went on to post this series of stories. She screenshotted her own Instagram post and wrote, "This is all factual. I am confident in my personal and legal stance." And then the next one says, just as the group says, my publisher contacted them. They ignored us. Correct. Would you ignore this kind response? And we'll get to the book club's response in a few. But this is what the publisher of this book's message said to the book club. Hi, I hope you're well. We wanted to reach out because we've become aware that several members of your group left 1-star reviews on our author's book, and we need to be honest about how deeply disheartening that has been on our end. We fully understand that not every story will resonate with every reader. We respect differing opinions and recognize that reading is subjective. However, a wave of 1-star reviews, especially on a debut work, has a very real human impact that goes far beyond simple feedback. This is not a seasoned, traditionally published author with a large platform. This is someone who invested an immense amount of time, vulnerability, and personal resources into their very first book. Authors invest thousands of dollars into bringing their work to life. Beyond the financial aspect, they are putting a piece of themselves out into the world for the first time. Seeing it met with an overwhelming number of the lowest possible ratings without care or constructive context is incredibly discouraging. In this case, it has been so discouraging that the author has stepped away from writing entirely and has put their planned trilogy on hold. That is the part that is hardest to sit with. Not just that the book was not for everyone, but that the response has effectively silenced a new voice before it even had the chance to grow. From a professional standpoint, when multiple reviews like this come from members of the same group at once, it begins to feel less like individual feedback and more like targeted behavior, regardless of intent. The impact reads as overwhelming and frankly harmful. As their publisher, it is our responsibility to advocate for our authors, especially in moments like this. We care deeply about fostering a reviewing environment that is honest, but also thoughtful and humane. We would genuinely appreciate it if your members would consider revisiting and, if appropriate, removing or adjusting those reviews. At the very least, we hope this opens a conversation within your group about the weight reviews carry, particularly for debut authors. We are always here to support readers and build positive relationships with communities, which is why we felt it was important to reach out directly. We believe in honest feedback, but we also believe it should never come at the cost of completely discouraging someone from creating again. There's more stories to go through, but I want to address some things in this series of messages. So, first off, at best, this is a completely unprofessional thing for a publisher to do. I completely understand criticism being tough to hear as an author when you've put so much of yourself into your book. That's just the way it goes, and that's why authors are so often ridiculed when they comment on reader reviews they don't like when they are treading into reader spaces. Next thing I'll say, it sucks to have your feelings hurt by a review or anything else that's being critical of something you're proud of. But the thousands of dollars and thousands of hours put into getting a book published doesn't mean everyone or anyone even has to like it. If the author decided to step away from writing because of some bad reviews, it sounds like the author needs to just not be reading reviews.
Yeah, so what I find really interesting about your videos is that it just throw up these questions about how authors sort of engage with readers in like the communities and that, and it does help. I have actually put that sort of questions to my the people in my Facebook group, like, you know, about how authors interact, and I think a lot of your videos I really enjoy because they are very balanced, and they're very sort of, you don't feel as though you're putting across this content just purely to just have like clickbait just for your channel. You do feel like you get all sides of the argument. You put all the evidence across. How easy or difficult is it for you to find evidence of the controversies that you are sort of featuring on your videos on the internet? And how do you know that it's not just somebody with vendetta just trying to like smear somebody's reputation?
Mm-hmm. I would say it kind of depends on the video whether or not it is difficult. I have a lot of kind of like beginnings of video. And so, like I said, I know I have my systems, and then from there, in my notes app where I write all of this down, I have a bunch of like beginnings, I guess, of like scripts of topics that never go anywhere because I can't find enough like reputable sources, or it just kind of depends on the topic.
A lot of them also
like,
are quite ongoing as well, aren't they? You revisit a few things quite often, yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of things it's just some like little kind of thing I'll come across, and then I'll start to like look into it further, and there's like this whole history. And so a lot of times scroll like I'll be able to like type it into Google or Threads or whatever, and there's someone with a long thread from 2 years ago talking about this company. And then a lot of times I'll reach out to them, even if it's been a while, and they're still like, oh yeah, let's talk. Yeah. And so that's a lot of the way. Yeah, exactly. A lot of times that is how I'm able to find such information and like email screenshots, because these people have like been hoarding them, waiting for someone to be loud about it besides them. And so that is definitely helpful. I do sometimes get people that send me emails or just are like, here, I have all this information. And I'm like, I'm so sorry that this happened to you. I believe you, but I can't really I don't feel comfortable presenting anything that's not rock solid evidence. Yes. Yeah. And I try to make it very clear when I don't have rock solid evidence, that I make that known.
Oh yeah. You make it very clear in your video that this is my opinion, or it's just summation, just a suspicion, or you do give those boundaries when you do explain different topics. Yeah, that's what I really like about the videos, is that it is.
Thank you.
Yeah, and
I definitely try to cover my bases. Yeah. I recently had someone come forward with so much information about our friend Britt Andrews, where if you haven't watched my channel, just go check that out. There's a lot to say about her. But it was all it was someone that knew her in real life, and it was all kind of just hearsay, and it's not it all completely sounds plausible. It's just not something I can really talk about because I have nothing to back it up.
Personal. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if I had like anything to back it up, I would love to expose her for the terrible person that she is even further, but I just can't do that.
I mean, as an NGO for myself, my mind just boggles how some of these authors can get themselves into this situation, especially with the Kickstarters, where they seem to be like, where they promise the earth and then it takes 2 years later down the line, they still haven't produced anything for the people. How did you? That's not just naivety. Sort of, how did you even get to that point? Yeah.
And sometimes, I totally can see the difference between, and I like to mention it sometimes, like, do I think such and such thing was always just like a scam, always there to make money? Because I don't think that all of these people go into these situations with that intention. But I think that they get in over their heads, and then they don't know when to admit defeat. Yes. And so then they just run away from their problems. Yeah. And I mean, I feel bad for them in the sense that, like, I think that is a human thing. I think that's something that could happen, but you need to you need to stand up and be an adult.
Yeah. Well, you always make a really good point, actually. So just because you're good at your hobby, or you have a hobby, doesn't mean it has to be a business. It doesn't have to be monetized.
Yeah, exactly.
Which it does seem to be the habit, the trend, especially I think since the pandemic. People think, I've written this book, or I could do these drawings, and it doesn't necessarily all like work out.
Right. And I think there's definitely places. It's great if you have a hobby that if you want to monetize it, and you can, but like, you need to take baby steps. Yes. You need to know, like, is this sustainable in a way that's not going to make me burn out, and B, end up kind of running away with people's money.
And is it scalable as well? Yeah, how can you scale it up? You know, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And again, at the end of the day, we're allowed to have hobbies that are not related to our finances.
Yeah, yeah.
It's so silly to have to say that, but yeah.
Yeah. Is there any topics that you've covered in your videos which affected you personally, either before you've uploaded them or afterwards? Does this have to be related to a scam or something? Is there anything, Chelsea, that you've been personally affected by?
So not in the sense of like anything that would be in a video. Like I haven't been scammed by it. I haven't had an author do anything like that. But I did have a subject of a video come after me quite hard with his followers. And so that was a pretty rough time. Just kind of taking something I said in a video, twisting out of context. Again, this is from my side, and I'm happy to discuss it with anyone that wanted to. It's not hard to figure out which video it is on my channel.
We're not going to just go into too much detail, but if you watch your channel, then they'll know.
You'll know. Something that I had said was twisted by him, who has about 7 million followers, and very, very little effort to cover my identity while saying this. So I got quite attacked there, but it ended up, kind of just making him look bad, because he really went to town on me. And once people got to know who I was, they came over to my channel, watched my videos. They were like, well, actually, she's got a point. So a lot of people, it worked out fine. I did end up doing a lot of blocking during that like week and a half.
Which you have to do, really,
right. But we came out the other side. I also recently got sent my very first cease and desist, so that was exciting.
Framed it.
So that was kind of intimidating, a little bit scary, but honestly, at the end of the day, the truth is the truth, and I wasn't really afraid. I did end up hiring a lawyer to write a little letter right back to her lawyer, and I don't feel like I don't have to keep this a secret. It's the Woman Anytime Author Promotions, Virginia. She went on a rant while she was driving, kind of spewing. Yes. So and so I watched the video back several times, and I was like, I didn't do anything wrong. I'm responding to things that she's saying. She's putting out into the world
in the public forum.
I'm like, I didn't. This isn't something private that she shared with someone. This is out there. I'm making opinions. I'm stating my opinions on things she said. And hired a lawyer, wrote back to her. Haven't heard anything since. That was probably a month and a half ago. I'm
People they just think, send a letter. It would intimidate somebody enough. They go, I'm a bit scared, and they'll back off. But actually, you need to stand up for yourself, and
Right. And it's one of those things, like I if it did go farther, I don't know if I don't have money to do a whole lawsuit, but also I think you would not, I think you would lose. You know what I mean? Like I try to be really careful. And I have, my dad was a lawyer. My mom technically is still a lawyer, but she hasn't practiced in a long time. But I know I have enough people in my life that can consult with lawyers relatively easily to just be like, I don't think she needs to worry about this. It's fine. For that kind of case. Of course, it was quite scary, but I do feel like, oh my gosh, I'm pissed someone off that much that I got a cease and desist. Look at me go.
Like, I've made it now. But say, like I touched upon earlier on, it's like there's a lot of videos out there which are very much clickbait, and they are just focus on the drama and the more emotional side, and the more like just trying to drag someone's name for the mud for the sake of it. Your videos very much are not that. They very much are that balanced argument. And
thank you.
You do say to me, basically, it's up to them to make their own minds up. Basically, all you're doing is just giving the information and then allow them to make their own decision and their own minds up, which is what I really like about the videos. And I do feel a lot more informed about what's going on in the community by watching your videos.
Thank you. So. I appreciate it. I think there's room for all of that, because I certainly enjoy watching a just drama-filled video with no substance at all. But I also think that, I find those things entertaining, but I also do have the goal to actually help people not get scammed, or just to entertain. And I want to make sure I'm being fair and well-rounded. I'm not trying to throw anyone under the bus that don't deserve it.
Well, you're framing it within the context of the wider picture, and you're sort of breaking through all the noise, basically, that obviously always comments and stuff on the internet, and actually just presenting the facts. Really.
Thank you. Yeah, I definitely try to make that my goal.
Yeah. So what would you say is the most important lesson you've learned from covering news, controversies, and drama on the bookish side of the internet?
Just to really be careful of like phrasing, and I think just making sure I have all of my information before I make any big claims. I just think it's always, you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube, so you need to be careful what you say. You need to make sure that you are using your platform to say what you mean to say.
Yes.
And I think that another lesson that's kind of been a little scary and weird to learn is that not everyone is going to like me.
Yeah.
And that's been a tough one, because I think that's just my personality. I'm like a people pleaser. I like everyone to be my friend. And so, stumbling across things on the internet that my eyes don't need to see, of like Reddit threads and I'm just like, the temptation, but I'm just like, you are going to hurt your own feelings. You don't need to see this. Nothing is, so I think that that's been definitely a something I've needed to just kind of learn, that you don't need to see what people think about you all the time. Yeah. And they're not going to always like you, and that's okay. Lots of people do.
When I first started out as an author, I found it difficult, because you think, well, I'm not going out my way to be mean to people, so why don't people like me? I think I'm quite a nice person.
Exactly. And I feel like I'm not trying to like pat myself. I feel like in real life I get along with most everyone I meet. I don't have any like enemies, so like I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of people in my real life that don't like me, but they don't tell me about it anyways.
I think there's also
it's one of those like
I think it's also an element of people, if they perceive you to be quite successful, I think there is a little bit of envy and jealousy that comes into that. They try to tear you down because they think that they perceive you to be like somebody, they perceive you to be achieving what they would love to achieve themselves, basically, and they don't like quite be where they want to be, and so they might think, so I think there's element of that as well.
Yeah, and I think those kinds of things just get stuck in my head anytime I hear like one tiny little criticism. It's so much louder. I mean, to everyone, it's so much louder than all of the positive stuff, and so I'm like constantly like thinking about, oh my gosh, I need to make sure I'm avoiding doing this thing because this one person said that it bothered them when I did it. You know what I mean? So
I mean, some people have like a positivity wall, so all the positive comments they'll print out and put them on their wall. So when they get a negative comment, they just turn to their right and be like, oh yeah, all those other people, they support
I know.
me.
I should do that. I actually I have a post office box I got like maybe a year ago, and I've gotten some really nice like letters and stuff from people, which is just unexpected. Again, I still can't believe that I'm like have people that watch my videos. I truly don't. And so it's so cool to like have those like physical things, and then I'll get emails from people, and it's just like I should print those out and put them places for real, because it's easy to get lost in the negative ones.
And they do stay with you, unfortunately. But as an author, the worst thing is when they give you like a 1 or 2 star rating but no review. See, I don't even know why you gave that rating. It's just like that's it. You can get your own head on that as well. So in all these interviews we have quizzes. True or false quiz.
Right.
So your topical choice was Taylor Swift. So presumably you're quite a big Taylor Swift fan.
I am.
So this is 8 questions, but there's a total of 12 points to be had, because if it's false, you get extra point if you can give me the correct answer.
Okay,
I've tried to keep this relatively easy, but at the same time not too easy that okay.
Sure.
So question 1. These are all true or false. Taylor Swift was born on the 13th of December 1989. Is that true or false?
That's true.
It is true. See, not too bad. So Taylor Swift's debut single was called Tom McGraw. True or false?
False. Well, it's Tim McGraw.
Yes. Yeah. Question 3. Taylor Swift is the second solo female artist to win Album of the Year 3 times. Is that true or false?
I feel like it's false, maybe, but I don't know.
Yep.
Okay. Is she the first?
She is the only solo female artist to have won Album of the Year 3 times. So
I pay less attention to the awards stuff, but I was like, I'm pretty sure.
Technically, if you got your false, technically I'll give you a point for that, because if she's not the second, she's definitely the first. So yeah. So Taylor Swift is named after James Taylor, one of her parents' favourite artists.
I feel like that's true.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you're doing really well so far.
Yeah, thank you.
So what is there a particular name for Taylor Swift fans? Is there a nickname
Swifties.
For them? Swiftie, okay, yes, you prove yourself a true Swiftie here. Now, Taylor Swift's grandmother, Marjorie, was an opera singer. Is that true or false?
True.
Yeah. Rising. Lover was the first album Taylor Swift wrote entirely on her own. Is that true or false?
False.
It is false. Can you give me the name of the album that she did write entirely on her own?
Speak now.
Yes. If you're a fan. Okay. So Taylor Swift's middle name is Abigail. Is that true or false?
False. Allison.
Yeah. Last question. Taylor Swift was given Time Magazine's Person of the Year award in 2023. Is that true or false?
True.
It is true.
Okay, yeah. I was like, I can picture the cover, but I don't really remember what year it was. But 2023 makes sense.
Full marks.
All right. I was nervous about that part.
Oh, yeah. But that's why people to pick their own topic, because otherwise.
Yes. No. Very good. Very good.
So, yeah. So you've spoke about you originally were doing book reviews. So you just recently sort of got back into reading. Is there a particular book that stayed with you long after you finished reading it? I did consider whether ask you which is the best book you've ever read, but I think that's a bit of quite a broad topic.
Yes.
Really. So what's the one that stayed with you the longest after you finished reading it?
Well, it is kind of the same. My favorite book of all time is still with me, and I've read it so many times now. It's 11/22/63 by Stephen King.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people have read it, heard of it by now, but if anyone's watching this that hasn't, it's about a man who sort of finds himself in a position where he needs to go back in time to stop the JFK assassination in order to save the future of humanity. But it's not so much of it's sci-fi, I guess, sort of, but it's very light on the sci-fi. There's very much things don't make sense, and they acknowledge that they don't make sense. And to me, that is such a huge thing in any sort of sci-fi type of fantasy thing. I'm I need to know why. And they're we don't know why this time travel is a thing, but it's
just go with it. Yeah, just go with it. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And I'm okay, that's fine. That's fine. But it's almost historical fiction for parts of it, because we're back in the 50s. There's parts of it that are, like I said, sci-fi.
Yeah.
There's some very mysterious parts. It's just such a great, well-rounded book, and the end totally will take you by surprise. And again, I still think about it. I think I read it for the first time probably 15 years ago, and I've read it many times since then, and I recommend it to everyone. And yeah.
So do you find that you get more meaning or different meanings from the book, or different sort of perspective of the book each time you read it? Do you feel it's a book that grows with you as you've gotten older and had more life experiences? Do you think that the way you read it has changed and the way you perceived it's changed?
I would say so, definitely. And just the experiences that I've gone through in my life since the first time. Each time, you read it, you get different things out of it. I also have a really bad memory, so there's always lots of details that I've forgotten about. So in that way, it does sort of feel a little bit different every time too, because I'm all right. You can be expecting something to happen, and then you're oh, I didn't even remember that happened in that way.
Yeah. I think most people can't remember half the books they've read, though, to be fair.
I know, so. Nothing.
Especially when you read stuff quite one after the other, you get confused by what happened in what book, and you're wait a minute, that character's not even a character in this book.
Mm-hmm.
So the next question is a question that I ask everybody who comes on this show, and I think it's really interesting to see what people's answers are. So if you could have coffee with 3 people, living or dead, famous or not famous, who would you pick? What would you talk about, and why would you choose them?
Okay, so let's just get the softball out of the way. Taylor Swift,
Yeah.
obviously. Gotta talk to her. I I know that we all like to think we know celebrities, and I am very much in like the don't meet your heroes camp, but I
Yeah.
just think she just seems so normal, and it's just so hard to fathom being someone that's probably one of the most famous pop stars to ever exist. And she is seemingly so down to earth. She doesn't let people bother. She just stays off of like the internet because she's
Yeah.
like, nothing I'm going to see there is going to make my day better for the most part. So,
Wish I could do that.
right. And she loves what she does. She loves the people that support her. And I mean, there's a lot of people out there that don't like her for one reason or another, and that's fine. But
Yeah.
I just think she's a really incredible human, and obviously an incredible songwriter. And
So
I would
what
have
do you
lots
ask
of
her
things
then? Yeah.
oh well, we'd have to talk about cats. She's a real cat lady.
Okay.
Unapologetic cat lady. So we would definitely need to talk about our cats. Um, I would want to. She's from not too far from where I live. She's from Reading, Pennsylvania, but I live in Philly, and she grew up supporting Philly teams, and so we've got to talk about some of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And of course the music. Her music's just had such a huge impact on my life. I would love to ask her what she was thinking and feeling when she wrote something that's elicited a strong reaction from me as a fan. Just love to kind of talk that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So who'd be a second person?
um Second person, and like again, we're gonna be a downer. My dad,
Mm.
I just miss him a lot, and I've lots of stuff
Yeah.
to catch him up on. Lots of stuff happened in the past couple of years that he's missed out on. So,
Yeah.
well, not even been two full years yet, but I got I got stuff to tell him. So definitely need to talk to him.
Yeah.
Um,
What do you
so
think he
that
would make of
one's
Taylor Swift?
oh, he would be thrilled.
Yeah.
Right? My dad loved Taylor Swift, so he would be like, "No, you don't need to talk to me. You go hang out with Taylor if you have to choose."
Yeah. I know, but you could all be like sat together having a coffee.
Oh,
So
if we were all together, he would be thrilled. Yeah, he would have so much to say.
yeah, it will be the third person. Who'd be the third person?
This one is so hard because I've been thinking about this like all week, and I feel like maybe I would go with um, Jackie Robinson. And forgive me if I'm insulting your intelligence, but he was the first Black baseball player to be in the majors. I mean,
Right.
it's because I know it's
Yeah.
very American sport.
Yeah.
It can be not a super British sport there. But he was very yeah, he was the first and had to take a lot of abuse from other
Yes.
players, and so I would just have so much to think about, to ask him about. I read his autobiography. He died not young, but he definitely,
Before his
his
time.
wife,
Yeah.
yeah, in the
Yeah.
70s, and his wife is still like alive now. So definitely younger than he was should have. But his autobiography is just so uh, interesting and inspiring. And I think we're at a time now where it's not exactly the same, but there have been more professional athletes coming out as members of like the queer community in one way or
Yeah.
another.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of lessons to be learned from what he went through. And I'm a big sports fan as
Yeah.
well. So I just think that, while it's not something that would personally be, I'm neither queer nor an athlete,
Yeah.
but I think some of the lessons that he learned, some of the things that he, found to be helpful, being like the first of
Yeah.
something that's going to have a lot of adversity around it, is, would be really interested to talk to him.
That'd be a really interesting combination, I think, as well. Yeah, that's why I like asking this question,
Oh
because
yeah.
people always think of people that I've not necessarily heard of, but then that's good because it introduces that person to other people who's watching as well. So
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, I suppose you didn't pick Britt Andrews or somebody like that you could like be like,
Oh,
right,
I
I've got
would
you in a
love
room
to
now.
talk to her. I would love nothing more than to talk to her.
Put in a room together, lock the door.
I would have so many questions. And, I think I could be normal. I've thought about this on more than one occasion. I think I could have like an adult conversation with her. But I don't think she'd want to talk to me.
I can see you being like, I'm just very disappointed. Just having that sort of calm,
Yeah.
it's like a parent type tone. You're like, that's even worse than you shouting at me.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I think a lot of the people that I talk about have there's such a wide variety of like truly like scammer bad person and people that got in over their head.
Yes.
And she's so like, she's the peak of like scammer bad person. And like right under her is like Christina K that we talk about.
Yeah, I know you said on your videos multiple times that you would never consider like being an author, but I suppose does all these sort of controversies put you off being an author even more?
Yeah. I mean, I think that the lack of knowing how to write a book is more so than that, and having no ideas. But I also I think that especially being an indie author, there's just so much pressure on you to be doing it all. And of course, you get you get to be in control, which is a benefit of itself, but it comes with a lot of responsibility. And none of that sounds fun to me. I am here to support other indie authors and all of that, but I will not be one myself.
Yeah, because obviously going back to the balance part of your videos, you do have a spotlight on indie authors and other sort of people as well at the end of your videos. So you sort of say, this is the bad people, but there is good people in the world. Here's one of them. Yeah. So
yes. Yeah. And I've had people like accuse me before of being like just centered in drama and trying to capitalize on other people's bad fortune and all of this. And so I think that, well, I know that's not ever my intention if it ever comes across to other people like that. That's why I try to like, if people are watching my videos, hey, if I can support and put forward into the spotlight an indie author who hasn't done anything wrong, who's not part of this video. And I assume wouldn't be, because otherwise they probably would not be interested in my videos if they were like, ooh, I'm going to be a scammer. You know what I mean?
Double bluff.
So that's kind of all I can do. I'm just like, well, I'm certainly not trying to capitalize on anyone's pain or misfortune, but I think that those things can help by talking about them can help other people from being in the same spot.
But I think also when you touch upon it quite often in a lot of these videos is that people have tried to talk to the person who's organised the Kickstarter or has promised the special edition of a book or something, and they're just not getting anything. It's just radio silence. And so to have somebody sort of speak for them and give them that platform to actually for their voice to be heard, it could be just as powerful as other things. I think it's more to that as well. It's actually giving them that space to be able to sort of put forward their own side of the story, really, as well.
Definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, we've reached the end of our chat already.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you so much for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure, as always.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
So just to remind you, you can buy the Bookish Society books from Amazon. You go to bookishsociety.com if you want to find a bit more about me and my books. Do you want to tell people where they can watch your videos and where they can follow you on social media?
Yes, my handle is Laura Ray Says on every platform, and my YouTube is just Laura Ray Says as well. I would love to see what you think about any of my videos. Leave me a comment, and love to chat. Get to know some of your people too.
Yes, that's Laura Ray in RAE rather than RAY.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes, sorry. I should have clarified that.
Very much.